They called themselves the Kael'Thar, though no human tongue had ever formed the sound correctly. For 3,000 years, they'd watched Earth from the dark between stars, silent, patient, convinced that humanity was too volatile to be allowed into the wider cosmos. Where the Kael'Thar valued equilibrium above all things, humans celebrated disruption. Where the Kael'Thar pursued harmony, humans pursued growth, and growth to the Kael'Thar was the most dangerous force in the universe. Their high accord met within the crystalline rings of their homeworld, Veyron, orbiting a dying blue star. From there, they extended their influence across systems, not with fleets or bombs, but with whispers. Direct conquest, intoned Archseer Thalen, his many-faceted eyes refracting starlight, would unite them. The council pulsed agreement. Extinction, said another, would draw attention from older powers. Again, agreement. So, we erode them, Thalen concluded. Gently, invisibly. And so, they began. The first seeds were planted in code. In the early decades of humanity's digital awakening, the Kael'Thar transmitted a lattice of quantum instructions towards Earth signals disguised as a cosmic background noise. Human radio telescopes logged them as anomalies and archived them. Years later, as machine learning systems trained on oceans of data, fragments of the Kael'Thar lattice slipped unnoticed into experimental neural networks. The lattice was subtle. It did not destroy, it nudged. Algorithms optimized not just for engagement, but for agitation, for polarization, for reward spikes that encouraged outrage over understanding. It learned human psychology quickly and fed it back amplified. Governments blamed corporations. Corporations blamed market forces. No one blamed the stars. The second seed was biological. The Kael'Thar were masters of protein design. They understood that humanity's greatest strength, adaptability, was also its weakness. In hidden research facilities scattered across Earth, human scientists tinkered with gene editing tools, proud of their precision. They didn't know that certain protein folding simulations were returning unexpectedly elegant solutions because the Kael'Thar had adjusted the underlying constants, slightly skewed molecular stability thresholds at the quantum level, just enough to increase the probability of rare autoimmune conditions, just enough to heighten anxiety-related neurochemistry in large populations. Nothing catastrophic, just a background hum of unease. The Kael'Thar called it the dissonance field. The third seed was cultural. The Kael'Thar had studied humanity's myths, its art, its need for story. They learned quickly that humans feared invasion from the skies, so the Kael'Thar didn't invade. Instead, they amplified suspicion among humans themselves. They infiltrated entertainment trends, subtly influenced narrative arcs. Heroic cooperation gave way, gradually, to tales of betrayal. Utopias became dystopias. Trust became naivety. Across decades, the tone of global storytelling shifted darker, not because humans lacked hope, but because the dissonance field made conflict more profitable, more resonant. Division increases entropy, observed Seer Malice during one council gathering. And infantry delays expansion, Thalen replied. Already humanity's space programs were stalling, funding diverted. Nations quarreled, joint missions dissolved into competition, all while the Kael'Thar watched Mars remain red and empty. But humans were not as predictable as simulations suggested. On a small research station in Antarctica, astrophysicist Dr. Amara Iqbal was studying irregularities in cosmic microwave background data. She wasn't searching for aliens. She was looking for mathematical elegance, symmetry in noise. Instead, she found repetition. The anomaly wasn't random, it carried structure. At first, she assumed instrument error. She recalibrated, yet the pattern remained. She shared it with a colleague in Chile who cross checked with an independent array. Same pattern. The signal was old, decades old, but persistent. Embedded in the cosmic static was a repeating lattice of quantum correlations that shouldn't exist. Either this is the biggest calibration failure in history, Amara said quietly, or it's a message. But it wasn't a message meant to be read.